What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wisconsin is now 7-0. They're the Greenbrier champions, and they are a different beast from what we've seen in a long time. A much different beast than they were last season. And before I get more into that, let's just talk about this Pittsburgh game for a second. This is a game where nothing was going Wisconsin's way in the first half. They made no threes. Nothing was falling. I mean, all their shots seemingly went in and out while Pittsburgh had some bank shots fall. But what brought Wisconsin back into this game, I believe, was the physicality. Wisconsin has a level of physicality that we haven't seen in forever. You look at the starting lineup, you go 6'3" Klesman, 6'4" Blackwell, 6'5" Tonje, 7' Nolan Winter, 7' Stephen Crowell. And there's some age in there. There's 2 fifth-year seniors and a 6th-year senior and then 2 sophomores. But the physicality is why Pittsburgh ended up switching to a zone in that second half. And the physicality is why Pittsburgh had no answer for John Tonje. You combine Tonje's first step with his physicality, it's a wonderful combination. They didn't really have an answer for Blackwell either. Truly impressive performance from Wisconsin because they just scored over 100 points against Arizona 9 days ago. And now they score 68 points in the last 26 minutes against Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh was, heading into tonight, maybe not anymore, a top 15 team in KenPom defensive efficiency rating. So Wisconsin, here's the reasons why I think this team is so much better. And shout out to Tonje once again, 33 points and 41 9 days ago. But why I think they're so much better is John Tonje and Kamari McGee are a better duo than Chucky Hepburn and AJ Storr. And I don't even think it's close, but we'll talk about Tonje versus Storr for a second. Tonje is better at every element of the game of basketball outside of vertical jump. And Tonje is no slouch when it comes to vertical jump. But Storr was probably well into the 40s. I mean, he had ridiculous bounce, but that was it. Storr is not nearly as good of a defender. Tonje is a much better shooter, much better ball handler, a more polished scorer, much better cutter, better team player, better passer, better basketball IQ. I mean, I can name everything. Tonje's got a better first step than Storr. He's better at everything. Stronger. I'm not sure if I said that one, but then you look at Kamari McGee versus Chucky Hepburn. McGee, I mean, he can do just about everything Chucky could do, but I think he does it better. I think he's a better on-ball defender. Chucky was a pesky defender and a streaky shooter, and McGee's not a proven shooter yet, but I think he's building confidence, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps up this level of shooting or a good shooting year for Wisconsin from deep. So, and a big difference between Tonje and McGee versus Storr and Chucky is the vibe, the energy, the body language. That rubs off on your teammates. When you're the leading scorer and you're the point guard, you're a leader, whether you like it or not. And both Storr and Chucky had terrible body language. They acted way too cool for school, but they weren't good enough to act like they were too cool for school. They just weren't good enough for that. While Tonje and McGee look like they're having fun. They lift up their teammates and make their teammates better when they're out there. There's that energy and a vibe to this team that is so much better than last year. They're so fun to watch, and I'm not saying they're those Final Four teams from 10 years ago, but they're fun to watch like those Final Four teams so far. Things can change. But another thing to consider why Wisconsin's so much better is the shooting. We've seen some guys so far early into the season take big jumps in their shooting. Blackwell was a great shooter last year, great shooter this year. He's one of the 3 good shooters from last year with Klesman, Crowell, and Blackwell. We're all good shooters, and they're all back. And Wisconsin shedded off some fat when it comes to shooting with, I hate to say it because I'm a big Tyler Wall fan, but there's more spacing without Tyler Wall on the court. And Storr was a streaky shooter. Chucky was a streaky shooter. They didn't have good percentages. No one had good percentages outside of those 3 that I named earlier. So the shooting's much better, and they're scoring at a much faster rate. They're pushing the ball. They're pressuring the ball in defense, and then they're pushing the ball in offense. We saw Jack Janicki pull up from 3 like he was Jimmer Fredette. And then actually Pittsburgh went down about 5 seconds later and knocked down a 3, a 6-point swing right there. But I like the confidence. And I like that Gard is just letting them flow so much better. The offense has evolved where the swing is a thing of the past. And now the team is just flowing and probing on offense. It's a beautiful thing to watch. The passes inside of the post to Crowell with the cutting and the chemistry already between Tonje and Crowell is unbelievable. And Blackwell with Crowell and McGee and Crowell. I just like how together this team seems. And as I said earlier, it's early in the season, but things are looking good. And right now, you only have really one guy who can't really shoot, and that's Gilmore. Everyone else can shoot. And last year, you would see lineups of 4 guys out there who really couldn't shoot at a high rate, and that's totally different this season. So I kind of touched on this earlier, but one of the last reason why I think this team is so much better is the physicality. The big three guards of Klesman at 6'3", Blackwell at 6'4", Tonje at 6'5", and they all have high basketball IQs. They all can handle the ball. They all can finish around the hoop. They all can shoot from distance. We haven't seen anything like these three guards in a long time. Then you bring in McGee, who's a total change of pace. He's a total hooper. I did not ever see McGee being this level of a hooper, but shout out to him. But buy stock now in Wisconsin. They will come across their road bumps, but I think the ceiling is very high in this Wisconsin team. This will be the best Wisconsin team you've seen in a long time. And remember this video. And that's all I got for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I'll see you next time.